And we are live. Can everybody see me and can everybody hear me? How are we doing tonight, everybody? All right. Stream's looking good. Beautiful. All right. So, it's been a little while since we've done this. I know I said I wanted to do a couple of these a week for the month of June, but I got sick. I still kind of am, honestly, but I don't think that's going to be a problem for this stream. So, let's go with it, see how I hold up. And uh, I look, I don't get sick very often. It's been years since I've really gotten sick, but this knocked me flat. This definitely knocked me flat. It's been a while, but life goes on, and I'm doing pretty well at this point. The only thing that's really left is the cough, but the cough does sound nasty, so hey, I'm certainly not the only one going through some stuff right now. But I don't think there's going to be a huge turnout to this stream or anything. It is still June. There isn't anything going on big right now. But I did want to throw together a stream today because we did have a little bit of movement with regards to the state of the roster for the long term. We extended Bryan Mone to a 2-year, $12 million contract extension. Now, as near as I can tell, the actual value of the contract is not nearly that. He's very unlikely to see most of that money. I've seen some reports that say that he's basically got no guarantees in 2024. I've seen some reports that indicate he basically there are a lot of game bonuses and roster bonuses in there as well. So if he doesn't perform, he's not going to see most of that money. So I think the deal's fine. That's kind of my current status on it right now. I want to see the exact details of the contract at some point. It's a little like the Will Dissly contract, which I'm not crazy about, but it probably won't end up hurting anything too badly. Mask, welcome. Other than that, we're waiting for Chris Carson. We're waiting for word on Chris Carson. I think that pretty much any day now, we should be getting some word on whether or not he's passing his physical. And if he doesn't pass his physical, that may be the end of the line for him. So hopefully we get a resolution there one way or the other. Now, I don't know exactly how the finances work if he's injured and can't play and has to retire. But it's not even really so much about the money at this point because it's not like this team is trying to compete for a Super Bowl this season. So I'm not even really thinking that much about that. It's more about how is this going to end? And, Chris Carson's been a great soldier for the last several years. So hopefully we get resolution there. And we still have the DK Metcalf stuff. There's been some rumors swirling around that an extension is imminent. And given the fact that he is now holding out, it probably should be. Like, it's time to take care of this. The opportunity to trade him was during the draft, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think it makes any sense to do it now. But we will know soon, hopefully. And there are some other things going on right now, like we cut Alex Tchangam a little while ago, which I know most people aren't going to give that a second thought. I kind of like Tchangam, but I didn't expect him to make the roster, really, so certainly no issue with that. And yeah, anything else you guys want to talk about as it pertains to the Seahawks? I'll start fielding comments from the chat now. So if you have something you want to talk about, go ahead and throw it in there. I'll respond to it as much as I can anyway. We'll see how heavy traffic gets in this stream. But obviously things are mostly fairly chill right now. And before we get underway here with addressing comments, as you can see, we have some goals for the month on this channel and this stream. We are about 98 subscribers short of the subscriber goal. So we have a chance. Obviously, June is slow, so there's no guarantee. But if some stuff happens, then we can get there, and I'll, try to force the issue as much as I can, I guess, by making content when I can. In a manner of speaking, like I don't want to clickbait people, but Now that I'm not sick, I'll be able to make probably at least a few more streams. I'll probably make another stream Saturday or something like that. We have a member goal. We need 13 more members to get to 110. We've fallen a little below 100, so if you have not yet become a member, just click the join button down below. I'm going to check on something here real quick because YouTube did recently add gifted memberships, but I don't know if... Yes, okay. So, if you click on the $ below the chat, you can now do membership gifting, which allows you to buy memberships for other people in the channel. I think it's basically it randomly picks people who are in the chat. So if you go there, you can say how many gifted memberships you want to buy, and those memberships get distributed to random users in the chat who choose to accept the membership. So for those of you who would like to do that, you can do that. We also have a stream super chat goal and a stream tip goal. Super chats, I think you guys all know how to do super chats. You can also click the tip link in the top of the video description, excuse me, and support the stream that way. We have, $25 goals for each. And with that, let's go ahead and get underway here. Y2K, Rob Stanton posted, we seem to 50 mil for next year in cap space. Where did all that cap space go? Well, next year, it's going to... quite a bit of cap space got eaten up for next year because of the Diggs extension, the Disley extension, what were the other 2-year deals we did? Not Penny, not Sidney Jones. Nwosu is another one. There was basically anybody on a 2-year deal, which were a lot of our free agent contracts this offseason. Most of the money is going to be in the second year. So a lot of the bigger cap hits are in that in that year. Now, 2023 is probably not the year we're going to be going for it. We're probably going to go for it in 2024 if we can find the quarterback of the future next year. So that cap space disappears, but that is not really what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about the cap space in 2024 and beyond, and for the most part, we are protecting that well. Noah, what would be your min/max deal for Metcalf? Years, 18 to 27 mil. What do you expect the Seahawks to give him realistically? I would give him the A.J. Brown contract. 4 years, 100 million. Sounds about right to me. Sounds about right for him. I think that would be perfectly agreeable. If it's a little different, then I don't really care that much. As far as I'm concerned, Metcalf is a player who has earned that money. He's done an incredible amount over the last 3 years on a relatively small contract. So I think it's time to reward him. So I'm going to say 4 years, 100 million. If it's a little bit more, that's totally fine. At Austin, at this point, I want Carson to retire. We drafted Walker, so let's just roll with him and Penny. Yeah, I think that's probably the best for everyone. I know Carson doesn't want to retire, and I know Pete doesn't want him to retire because he loves Carson. I think he probably has maybe a little bit of I think Carson is probably one of his favorite Seahawks currently on the team, but I don't see how this ends well. I really don't. If we keep him. Pandalorian, good to see you back on the live streams. Yep, thank you, Pandalorian. It's not been a fun couple weeks, but we're getting close. We're getting close. I just got knocked flat for a little bit. J.R. Chadwick, if Baker were cut, would you mind if Seattle signed him? If he were cut, then that's fine. We can get him if he's cut. Don Pritchett, you sound a little congested. How are you feeling? I'm close. I'm almost done with this garbage. I'm almost done with this garbage, Don. So I'm not all the way out of it yet, but I no longer feel so bad that I can't stream. So I'll take that as a win, right? Ethan, I don't want to see Carson carried off the field paralyzed. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm afraid how this goes. Kinda. Like the injury he had last year is just so bad, especially for a running back of his style. So I just don't see how it ends well with him. Jackson, how you feeling about the Monet contract? It's whatever. A lot of the money's tied up in incentives, and it doesn't seem like the third year has very much guaranteed. So you might see Monet for this year and then next year, and then he might be gone and owed very little, if anything, in 2020. What is it? 2022, 2024. So it's whatever. I'm not into it, but it's look. He's big. We need a big guy down there in the trenches. We need the trash can full of dirt, and he can be that. I would have liked a slightly better one, maybe, but maybe he's a little better than I'm thinking anyway. A lot of people think he's a little better than a lot of people assume. I think that's reasonable. Maurice, do you at least expect our defense to be good? I do. I don't think it'll be amazing because we're depending on some young guys, but I do think our defense will be good. Maybe good enough to win a few more games than some people are expecting, but I'm not expecting anything great, and I don't need it to be great right now. Mafe, he's going to take some time, and I'm cool with that. Nelson, still need goal line beast. Um, yeah, admittedly, we don't have a lot of power backs on the roster other than Carson, but Carson, like, can he still be a power back at his in his state? I don't know if I see it. Look, I've said it before. When we re-signed Carson to that contract, I didn't really like it, but when I saw the contract details, I was like, okay, like unless the worst case scenario happens, it's fine. But then the worst case scenario happened, and it sucks, but I don't want to make this worse than it already is. Ooh, double play ball. One, two, there we go. Jackson, you think Lucas wins the right tackle job? I would be really surprised if he doesn't win the right tackle job. I would expect him to win the right tackle job for sure. If he doesn't, that would be disappointing. Hobo Joe, Penny probably misses half the season. Well, the one thing with Penny is that most of the issues that Penny has had in his career have stemmed from the one big injury. At least it's not like Carson, where Carson, every year, something different breaks. At least Penny, most of it comes from the one injury that he's hopefully passed. But honestly, I'm not expecting a full year from him. But you shouldn't really expect a full year from any running back in general. Nelson, Gamage, Penny, and Walker be looking to bounce. It's a very appealing duo for sure. I like Walker. I've really come around on him. I don't think Penny's going to be here much longer, but he'll be nice while we have him. Daniel, I'm fine with 53 million cap anyway. 180 mil was crazy. We don't need the entire roster via free agency. Yeah, exactly. Daniel, there's a kind of a stat sheet of limitations on what you can get out of cap space anyway. Like, if you have too much, then it's like, are you really thinking you're going to just be able to buy all the best players? Especially when you're arguably having an issue attracting free agents to play for you. So, yeah, you don't need all the cap space. You just need enough cap space to address your needs. You and Brandon doing a B&B stream this week, Jackson? Yes, I think so. PretentiousCameron, what's up? Not much with me, man. I'm still kind of sick, but we're getting there. Jackson Shore, you excited about UW football coming up? I'm not expecting anything great this year, but I think the team will be okay. Better than last year. It's hard to be worse than they were last year. I mean, my God. Mask, if Penny does go down, I really want to see Homer get more runs. He has improved a lot as a runner with him bulking up. Yeah, Mask. Travis Homer is kind of your classic scapegoat guy. Right? Travis Homer is your classic scapegoat guy because we kept giving him the ball on 3rd and 1,000,000. But he has value, and when he had the ball in his hands last year, I didn't hate what I saw. So, sure. The thing is, you're going to have to pay him next year, so I don't know if you're planning on doing that. Oh, snap. Trammell. Trammell's got power, man. I don't know where it came from. The Seahawks times Mone has played well overall. Yeah, he a lot of people argue that he's actually made some really positive contributions to the run defense, and they point to like the Titans game as an example of that because he missed that game. That may prove to be true. We'll need time. Jackson, I think Matty said Mone is underrated for what he does, so I trust him. Yeah, I like Matty too, but I think he gets some stuff wrong. I mean, I know that Matty puts a lot of work into forming his takes, but Matty F. Brown is one of the guys who was super pro Ken Norton Jr. He thought Ken Norton Jr. was great. And while I understand that he put a lot of work into that take, it's hard for me to buy it. It's hard for me to look at that and go, yeah, okay. I think he's onto something here. I think he just missed on that one. Matty F. Brown was basically president of the Wilson Sucks Club. He thinks Wilson's garbage. And while he does make some good points, I'm just like, I don't think... I think he misses that one, you know? So he can get stuff wrong, but I do like Matty F. Brown, and I do think he makes a lot of really good points. Mass Temple, I could see us winning a max of 8 to 9 games, but I expect 5 to 7. Yeah, my last guess was like 7 and 10. I think we're going to go like 7 and 10. Defense is going to be okay. Byron D, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Lockett is our slowest receiver. That is insane. Is he slower than Penny Hart? I think Penny Hart might be slower. Other than that, you're probably right. But yeah, we do have a lot of speed. We definitely have speed, and that's nice. Speed kills. When I used to play Madden, back when Madden didn't suck, when I used to play Madden, it was all about speed. I was basically Al Davis, so I like speed. But I don't know how well it works in the NFL sometimes. JP with the easy double play ball. David Ott, either Carson can be a power back or he's retiring, can't be an RB who just doesn't lower the shoulder. Yeah, look, Carson, he was always a slower guy. Now he's even slower. If you're telling me he's got no power because of the neck injury, then forget about it. Forget about it. It sucks. I liked Carson. He was low-key one of the best draft picks of the last 5-6 years. But if this is going to end badly, let's make it end now before things get bad. Ethan, go UW, my first year coming up in the fall. Oh, have fun, Ethan. Are you going to the main campus? Pandalorian, how do you think the new defensive schemes will better utilize Jamal Adams? I think he'll be better in a 3-4. I think he'll be better when we're not doing so much cover 2 stuff like we were last year. I think that you're going to have him playing downhill more, which is going to benefit him. Last year was really just kind of a mess. We really didn't have a good understanding of how to utilize him. I think that stuff's going to help. Noah, if you get a D-line superstar, borderline all-pro, either through draft or free agency, would you prefer defensive tackle or edge? Well, probably edge. I mean, you always want the pass rush is more important, I think, in the modern NFL. Nelson Gamage, what have you heard about Tariq Woolen from minicamp? He's flashed, Nelson. Woolen's flashing. That's what I've been hearing, and that's all I expect. I don't expect great consistency right now, but it's encouraging to me that he's flashing. I'll say that. Andy Anderson, I see us at 9-8 or 10-7. They will surprise everyone. If Drew Lock plays good, I guess it's possible. I'm just not there yet. I'm just not there yet. And the other thing, you guys, the other thing to remember is that even if Drew Lock is good, even if Drew Lock can do it, you guys got to realize we have an offensive line with 2 rookies starting at tackle, and we have a guy playing out of position at left guard, and we have an okay center and an okay right guard. So, like it's going to be really hard for this offensive line to be even average. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. This is a necessary rebuild, but be ready for it. MJJ, glad to see your cute face back on the tube. Took a deep dive into Locke and actually think he could work out for our team if he beats out Smith. It's not impossible, but there is such a thing as damaged goods, and I think his time in Denver may have messed him up a little bit. So it wouldn't completely shock me if... oh, snap. Oh, safe. All right, cool. Let's go. Noah, someone who can put a game on his back. Okay, yeah, edge. You generally want the edge rusher more. Jackson, did you see the article saying Russ wanted Shoddy fired, not Pete? Yes, I did. I did see that. I mean, Schottenheimer needed to go, so it doesn't really matter that much to me. It is weird to me if Russ wanted Shoddy fired, he would come out right after he got fired and say, I don't like this. But it doesn't matter anymore. Seahawks times, I see 10-7 as well, to be honest. I just don't know how we score enough points for that. How do we score enough points? I'm just trying to figure it out. I don't see it. Chef Rush, 2 clutch, 9 and 8 gang. You're going to have to find a way to take care of this Ram stuff. You're going to have to find a way to finally break through against the Rams, I think. Jackson Shore, who makes a bigger impact, Bo Melton or Derek Young? Probably Bo. He's a better player, more ready, I think. Icy, when will you do calls? Probably next week. Maybe this weekend. Seahawks times, I also agree time will tell if this Mone contract was necessary. We do need a nose tackle. We do. I would have liked to have done a little better, but here's the thing. True nose tackles are kind of rare. So maybe you looked at Mone's 360-pound body and you were like, hey, we need that. We need that. Maybe. The Seahawks Times, thank you for the $2.18 super chat. We have a top 5 run game and 2 of the best wide receivers. I can get behind that, but the offensive line, it's not going to be very good. So even though we're saying that, hey, we have good receivers, we do. We have good running backs, we do. And I think we will be able to run block pretty well. So I'm not convinced it's going to be enough to make the team good. Mason Dahl, what's the likelihood that Sean decides the next head coach? Pretty high. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I'm behind it. I can get behind that. Sean decide, let's go. Hobo Joe, let's be honest, this defense will have to hold opponents under 20 points, and I just don't see that yet. It's hard to hold any team under 20 points in the modern NFL, so I think it's unreasonable to expect that, absolutely. But I do think the defense will do pretty well. Divine Comedy, Swain, though. Yeah. Is Swain faster than Lockett? I don't know. And it doesn't really matter that much. Lockett's value is beyond just speed at this point. Like, I don't think he's nearly as fast as he used to be, but he still has a lot of value in other ways. Jackson Shore, what's a realistic expectation for Boye Mafe this year? 5 sacks? Yeah, I can go with that. That sounds okay to me. 5 sacks. Okay. Ethan's Tech World, I'm listening to the M's game. Don't understand why I'm so behind compared to the TV. Yeah, sometimes I get way behind watching Seahawks games. It's weird. I don't know what's up with it. U-Week 2K, 6 to 7 defense will be on the field a lot. Yeah, I mean, they were on the field a ton. I mean, look, it's impossible to be on the field more than they were last year. The defense was on the field for 3 years every single game. And yes, I know that's impossible, but somehow they pulled it off. So it's not like it can be worse, but they will be on the field probably more than the average for sure. PretentiousCameron, Carson needs to retire. I don't want to see him paralyzed on the field. Yeah, that's kind of where I am. I mean, you guys have seen that neck injury. It's no joke. Jackson, glad you're starting to feel better. Your video about what CFB teams to watch was amazing. Yeah, I think it's going to be a big part of being a Seahawks fan this year, Jackson. Watching college football and figuring out who you like in the upcoming draft. This upcoming draft is huge. We have 4 picks in the top 64 minimum, and one of those picks will probably be top 10, and another one of those picks is going to be in the top 10 of the second round almost certainly. So you got to hit. You got to hit, and I think we got a chance. So I'm intrigued by that for sure. Maybe just as much as actual Seahawks games. Mason, not saying PFF is the god of all football opinions, but how low of a grade would Cross need for you to be worried? He'd have to be like sub 50 for me to be worried. I'm ready for him to have a rough rookie year because that's what left tackles go through most of the time. Carson Schroer, welcome to the Elite Membership Club. Thank you. Appreciate the support, Carson. All right. Welcome to the Elite Membership Club. Mass Temple Bronco reporter AJ said this. This problem wasn't mainly with the Seattle offense. It wasn't a case of poor scheme or play design. The problem was Russell Wilson. He said a lot of reps are just chaos strung together with a disjointed pocket movement and an occasional deep strike that kept them alive and draws the attention. Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You know, Russell Wilson, he's one of the most unique players ever. And part of the reason why is that what he's good at, he's really good at, like historically good. But he's also historically bad in some areas. And if he starts to lose the stuff he was historically good at, you're left with nothing. So it kind of makes sense to me that when Wilson crashes, whether it's this year, 5 years from now, 100 years from now, whenever, it's going to be violent. Because he's going to just lose the things he was historically good at and be left with the things that he was historically bad at. Like, I posted that stat. I talked about that last year. Last year, by QB rating, Wilson was the worst quarterback in the league in obvious passing situations. He was worse than Sam Darnold, worse than Zach Wilson. Like you, as a Seahawks fan, you have to look at that and go, wow, okay, I need to reevaluate things a little bit here. Byron D, thank you for the member message. Who do you think our third receiver will be? Goodwin or Eskridge, maybe Swain. Also, who are our starting cornerbacks? I think it'll be Eskridge. And cornerbacks, Sidney Jones, and I'll go Kobe because Trey Brown's coming back from an injury. Green Earth, welcome. What's up? Banana Top, and good afternoon. Mason, I'm low-key intrigued by the thought of grabbing Garoppolo if he's released would give Waldron a stage chain mover who can run his system the way he needs. Yeah, but there's no upside there, and he's already kind of old. Like, who cares if he's good? Is he going to be the long-term guy? I don't see it. Then I don't get the Garoppolo thing at all. I'm not interested in that at all. I don't see it. Steven, now that we have Disley and Fant, do you see this offense running a lot of two tight end sets with Lockett and Metcalf on the outside? I mean, we ran a lot of them last year, and now we have even probably better tight ends. So, yes, I see a lot of two tight end sets, maybe the most in the league. New Gash, we have 0 top 5 receivers. Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean our receiving core is bad. I mean, Lockett and Metcalf, pretty strong. And we also have I like our sleeper depth at receiver, too. Like, I still like Cade Johnson. I still like Aaron Fuller. I still like to think those guys can do something if they ever get out there, which I can't say about most positions on this team. Like, I look at our depth on the interior offensive line, and I don't see much. I look at our deep depth and the defensive line, and it's like Miles Adams. I don't see much there. Jackson, you think Gabe gets cut and Phil Haynes goes to left guard and D. Lou goes back to right guard? That's what I would do, but it doesn't seem like the team is interested in doing it, so probably not. Unfortunately, it just seems like they're married to some of this stuff. Put Igonawigbe, EA Buniwe at weak side starting and Barton second weak side and Brooks, MLB and Muse at second middle linebacker, Alton Robinson SLB and Jamal Adams SLB on third downs. I think Muse is too small to play middle linebacker in this defense. He's like 220 or something. I don't see it. Too small. And you don't want to put Jamal at linebacker with his shoulders being in what point they are. Daniel, that's a good point that our cap space will be great in 2 years when our next 2 draft classes have some experience under their belt and we can really make a run. Charles Cross, hopefully top 5 left tackle then. Yeah, I'm not thinking about cap space in the short term. It's not that big of a deal. We're not trying to win a Super Bowl right now. He also he also said it's hard to create an offense with a quarterback that just completely avoids a whole section of the field. Yeah, I mean, what Russ is good at, he's historically good at, but the stuff he doesn't do, he's like worst in the league. It's kind of crazy. And it makes sense that whenever he goes down, he's going to go down hard. And I don't know if it's going to happen now or later. When it happens, it's probably going to be strong. Like, PFF did that study. For like 5 years in a row, he's been last in the league in throwing to the middle of the field. So, like, that's not just bad. That's not just really bad. That's bottom tier. That's the very, very bottom rung. Israel, this O-line will be better than last year. I don't think it will be. Having 2 rookies out there is going to take time to deal with. I don't think this offensive line's better. Seahawks times, we may not be good at all. 10 wins is def possible if it clicks. I hear you though, brother. I love the channel. If it clicks, sure, it's just going to be very hard for that to happen. Green Earth, if I was the one calling the shots, the whole team would have been destroyed like the great flood of the Bible. The only one on my arc is DK. I would have had a couple more guys on the arc like Taylor. I don't hate the direction the team is going in at the moment. Hobo Joe, all the speed talk about Lockett means nothing. Steve Largent wasn't a burner either. Oh yeah, there's more to a receiver than speed, of course. But it's hard to not look at the array of speed we have on this team right now and think, this is something different than we've had in the past. This is something unique. This is something we can lean on. Mason Dahl, if Penny plays like he did last year for 10 games, what would you pay him? I'll be honest. I think Kenneth Walker is going to be a workhorse running back, so I wouldn't really bring back Penny for... I don't think there's any circumstance where Penny is here in 2023. It's hard for me to believe it. Because if he plays really well, he's going to be expensive. If he doesn't play well, then why would you want him back? Like, we just drafted Kenneth Walker. Why make another investment into a running back who is good, but I think we're going to find out that Kenneth Walker can do a lot of the stuff that Penny does this year as well. So, too much football sin to justify saving some of it. Kind of Green Earth. I'm not crazy about bringing back Diggs, but it's fine. Like, bringing back Diggs is fine. I'm not crazy about bringing back Will Dissly, but it's fine. Ethan's Tech World, that was so annoying from Russ, only through to the sides. Yeah, there was a lot of that going on. Especially Pete. Yeah, Green Earth. You guys know how I feel about that, but at least he's, I guess the rebuild's off to a pretty decent start so far. You think we have a shot to beat Denver? I'm hoping. I mean, of course we do. We have a shot to win any game. Is it a realistic shot? I'm not there yet. I don't believe this offense is going to be able to score enough. Jackson, any chance Jody wants to sell the Blazers but keep the Seahawks? I don't think she can. I don't think that's an option for her. So, probably not. Jackson Shore, who leads the team in sacks? Probably Taylor. I'll go Taylor. Trade Swain, put Eskridge at PR and KR with Homer, and put DJ Dallas at fullback to help block for Walker and Penny. I don't think Swain has any value. You could trade him for maybe like a future 7th rounder or something, I guess, but I don't think he has value. Zua, hope you feeling better, man. I'm feeling a little better. Well enough to stream. Mason Dahl, Wilson has had 3 different coordinators and the offense always looks the same. I wouldn't count on him having a complete stylistic evolution at 33. Yeah, it's not very likely. I wouldn't have hated hoping that it does happen, but it's not the most likely thing in the world, which is why I'm not so pained about moving on from him. Hold on. Zua, for me, I'll take the 4-3 and 5-12 record. I have 0 expectations this year, but at the same time, this next year has one of the deeper QB classes. There's plenty to choose from. Yeah, I'm down with it. If we have a bad year, we have a bad year. Our D-line is terrible, sadly. I think it's shallow. I don't think it's terrible. Shelby Harris is good. Al Woods should be good for another year. Puna's good if he can fit in. I think it's just shallow. I don't think it's terrible. Carson, Will Levis puts mayonnaise in his coffee. I saw that. I don't drink coffee at all. I think all coffee is gross, so I don't really care what you put in it. It's all gross, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so we're about halfway through the stream. We got 125 people in here. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Please like the stream if you haven't already. If you're new, you can subscribe to the channel for, well, right now, not daily Seahawks content, but most of the year we do daily Seahawks content. I make videos several times a week at the minimum. Become a channel member for $2 or $5 a month. And by the way, I'm going to say it again. Gifted memberships are now up on my channel, which means you can click on the $sign below chat. You can buy... You can buy memberships for other people in the chat rather than just buying one for yourself. It's a carryover feature from Twitch that they just recently added to YouTube. So I know some people have been waiting on that, and if you want to gift subs in the chat, you can do so. You just click it and then it randomly picks people in the chat who can get a membership. And we also have a super chat goal and a tip goal. You can click the link in the description to tip. You can click the $ down below to a super chat. And those are the best ways to support the channel. Noah, under the premise of the rebuild going good, do you expect a collapse of any NFC West team during the Hawks' rise due to draft capital or contracts? I mean, you would figure the Rams thing needs to end at some point, right? And I don't think the Cardinals are that good, so maybe them. But the Cardinals could blow it up if things don't go well soon. Like Kyler, if they're not going to extend him, who knows where that goes if he doesn't have a big year. They extended Kingsbury. They're kind of stuck there, but things would rapidly, excuse me, rapidly shift if they lose Kyler. Zua, I hope Walker the Third can be as effective as Najee Harris was for the Steelers. Had 1,200 yards and caught the most passes of running back. I see a lot of potential in KW3. Yeah, I think he's a workhorse. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch a lot of passes, but it's possible. It's possible that he just wasn't used that way in college. Mason Dahl, I know it was reported Wilson wants $15 million a year, but hypothetically, how pissed would you be if he took a pay cut after never doing so in Seattle? I don't care about that stuff, Mason. I don't care if Wilson... I don't care about Wilson's money. I don't really get into that stuff. The reason why I was open to moving from Wilson and why I was a little tired of him was because I didn't think he was playing well. I didn't really care about the money stuff. As long as he was playing as well as he was playing for a while there, I would have paid him whatever he wanted. There is a formula in the NFL. You pay your best players big money, and then in order to make up for the fact that a lot of your money is going to these players, you draft cheap players to fill out your roster. The Seahawks did not hold up their end of the bargain there when they couldn't draft for the last 8 years or whatever. So that's the real problem. I don't really care about what Wilson wants to make. It's not like he's taking up 90% of the salary cap. He never did that. Some people like to say he did, and that's why we were bad, but that's not the case. My problem with the Wilson, the way Wilson played throughout a lot of last year, I wouldn't want to keep him for any amount of money. So it's not about money. I don't care about money when it comes to that kind of stuff. If Wilson was asking for like $200 million a year, then I would have a problem with it because then he's making it impossible to build a competitive team. But that's not what's going on here. So I don't buy it. Jackson, the more I watch CJ Stroud, the more I fall in love with him. Still like Will Levis, though. I'm coming around a little bit on Stroud. He might have a little something, but I still like Levis the best. As of right now. But look, a lot of this stuff gets determined in the final year of their college careers, right? So we're going to learn a lot this year. And that's we just got to wait and see what they do. Wow, they have Adam Frazier sack bunting now. That's so sad. That's Zua. That's so true again. Wilson is almost dead last on third down. In fact, that's why we were one of the worst in time of possession. Yeah, outside of like 1 year, which was 2014, I think the Seahawks were always a bad third down team with Wilson. I'm going to have to go see if that was like true with Hasselbeck. I don't think it was. But it's actually kind of crazy how bad this team was on third down and they still managed to field a good offense. Rock Out, welcome to the channel. We got a new sub. Gotta go. Can't wait till the next B&B stream. See you there, Brendan. Feel better, bro. I'll try to, Jackson. Anthony, could Penny become draft capital, maybe? I wouldn't be against it. If he's playing well and staying healthy and you can trade him at the deadline, I'm not against it at all. Byron D, how would you feel if we drafted Levis or Young? Those are my top 2 guys next year's draft. I don't know about Young. I'm going to have to see what he does this year. It's so hard to evaluate these players when they're playing for Alabama and they've got nothing but 5-star recruits around them, and they're playing. I mean, they're playing good competition in a lot of games, but it's just like every wide receiver on your team could win the Heisman almost. It's crazy. DJ, any way we can get our participation trophy already for this season? I don't need a trophy this year. I just want to see some development on the D. Zua, I still can't believe we gave Disley $8 million a year, same money as Greg Olsen, but at least Disley would do something unlike Olsen. Um, yeah, it's not nearly as bad when you consider the fact that his contract is basically non-guaranteed the last year. I still don't really like it, but it's not the end of the world. Or we know Gino versus Drew, but what about third QB who will battle Easton and maybe DeAndre Johnson or Eric Barriere at third QB? He played at Eastern Washington University. I think Easton's going to be on the practice squad, and that'll be that. I don't really care that much. I don't believe in any of those guys. I don't think Easton's the guy. I don't think anybody we could really get is going to be the guy. So it doesn't really me that much. WK football shorts. Monet is underrated. Yeah, some people are saying that. Some people are starting to really put that out there, and maybe there's something there. We'll find out. Um, I will say that our run defense has been really good the last couple years, so maybe he has something to do with that. Parkinson's future looks bleak. He doesn't fit the scheme at all, but has improved as a blocker. Weird to think they apparently had a first round grade on him. I don't think that's true, Mason. There's no way that's true. That's got to be BS. There's no way you had a first round grade on Colby, but um, I don't know. I don't expect anything from Parkinson at this point. Yeah. U Week 2K don't know where all the Levis loves is coming from. I just don't see it. Reminds me of Jake Fromm from Georgia a few years ago. Okay, but certainly not top 10 draft pick material. Um, well, we're gonna find out a lot this year, right? I mean, all these guys are gonna um, all these guys are going to establish who they really are this year that we're talking about. I think Levis has the thing I like about Levis is he's going to spend this year in an offense that is very similar to the Waldron offense, and he's got a quick release, and he's not surrounded by a bunch of 5 stars like Bryce Young is. But we'll find out. David Ott, Cardinals might be low key the worst team in the division. I don't think so, but I think they're not going anywhere good. Mason Dahl, I think Alton Robinson was maybe the most disappointing player last year. I was a little disappointed in him, but it wasn't that bad. He didn't get to play that much, so it's hard to do anything. Daniel, who do you think is Seahawks starting QB week 1? Also, what are the chances Hawks beat the Chiefs or Chargers? I don't see how we beat either of those teams, and I'm hoping it's Lock, but right now it looks like it's going to be Gino. Robert Coppersmith, when Wilson first started, he had one of the best and most expensive offensive lines in the NFL. I don't know if it was ever one of the best. It was that first year. I mean, it was good. I don't think it was ever like a impenetrable wall, though. Even when it was expensive, it was good. But most of that stuff was focused on the run blocking. Prayers for you, prayers for Chris from Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it. U Week 2K, Parkinson, Dallas, Swain, Homer, and Barton are all second or third stringers or career special teamers at best. Tired of discussing them. They are who we thought they were. I think Travis Homer is one of the best third down backs in the league. Everyone else, yeah, I don't care about any of them, but Homer has a clear and obvious role with this team, and I'm pretty happy with it. Rock out. Hey, thank you for all that you do. If you ever need music for the channel, rock out. I have been thinking about that a little bit. Rock out. Tommy Eden. Wasn't there multiple games last year where we didn't convert a third down until like the second half or something crazy? I feel like that's been a thing for years. Like the third down issue was just always really brutal with this team. It's like I said, the one year we were good on third down was 2014. Carson, remember when Taylor had the head injury in the Steelers game? I thought he was maybe done for good. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. But somehow he was on the field a week later or 2 weeks later. Pandalorian, what are your thoughts on KJ Jefferson out of Arkansas? I like him. I like KJ Jefferson a lot. I uh I don't know if he's going to be a great fit for this offense, but I like him. And if we switch up our offense or change our offense a little bit to accommodate that kind of a quarterback, then I'm intrigued. U-Week 2K, since 2014, Seahawks 32nd in money spent on OL and only sent one OL to a second contract, Posick. We signed Dwayne Brown to that extension. I think that's it, though. Yeah, we gave Dwayne Brown the extension. That was about it. Robert Coppersmith, if a few of the draft picks perform well enough to contribute, I think the Hawks will be okay. They'll be contenders. I think you're putting too much on rookies, I think. And the defense needs a big improvement in pass defense. Yeah, that's why I'm not expecting amazing things this year. Mafe needs to be big. And Mafe, I don't think he's going to have a big rookie year. I don't think he's ready for that. Zua, I still like Tyler Van Dyke as a sleeper QB, has the size, can run, and reminds me of Tannehill in a way, and so far Tannehill is still a starting QB. I can see him getting picked up in the third round. I don't know about that, Zua. If Van Dyke has a good year, I think he could go in the top 40. I think he could be a first-round pick easily. Again, we have so much we need to learn about these guys, and we're going to learn a lot this year. Mason, it's too early to know much about next year's QBs other than traits, so that's why my eyes are glued to Anthony Richardson, Levis, and the Washington State guy. Yeah, those guys are definitely interesting. Cam Ward, very interesting. Anthony Richardson looks like the next Lamar Jackson. Like a lot of these guys have barely even played, and Cam Ward played at Incarnate Word University, so it's just we're gonna have to see what's up. Byron D, you watched the Thank You Russell Wilson video by the Seahawks. It made me want to cry. I've not seen that. Maybe I did. I can't remember. Rock out. Any future quarterbacks stress me out. I've been following Colin, not actually following Kaepernick, and Cam Newton. Future draft QBs also a no from me. Well, it's got to be in the draft pretty much, unless it's Drew Lock. I don't think we're going to pick up an also ran. I don't think we're going to pick up some guy who's already kind of flunked out of the league. It's going to be Drew Lock or it's going to be somebody in the draft. And I don't dread that at all. I like this draft class. Or would you take KJ Jefferson at QB or Bryce Young at QB? Probably KJ, but I'm open to having my mind changed this year. Robert Coppersmith, that's why the running game was so good and it helped Russell out a lot. He didn't have to pass as much. Yeah, we were talking about this in stream last night. Where I feel like I think we've forgotten how dominant that whole team was the year we won the Super Bowl. Like, if you look at Wilson in that playoff run, he did very little against the Saints, and we still dominated that whole game. He didn't do much against the Niners until the second half. And then in the Super Bowl, we could have run Wildcat with Robert Turbin that whole game and probably won it. And we still dominate those games. We dominate the Saints pretty much. I know they kind of got in it at the end, but we dominated that game. We dominate the Broncos. He doesn't even have to do anything. Like, that was the right way to build a team at that point. But then you lose your defense, and it's time to start building around what you have, which is Russell. And we didn't really do it. So I don't think we're ever getting back to that point is kind of my thing. The Hawks Nest, thank you for the $10 super chat. We rolling this week. Hit that like button, folks. Yeah, let's do a show this week, Brandon. I think that we have some stuff to talk about, and I'm feeling a little better. It's not been a fun few weeks for me, but I'm almost out of the woods, so let's go with it. If I feel good enough to stream here, I can stream over on, I can stream with you, so sure. Devin Martzall, thank you for the $4.99. Good to have you back, buddy. We missed you. Go Hawks. Thank you, Devin. Appreciate it. Hopefully, I don't make any long-term departures in the future, but it had been a long time since I had gotten sick, people. So it had to happen eventually. KJ Jefferson is the size of a linebacker. Yeah, he's big. He is the spitting image of Cam Newton in many, many ways. And, I mean, Cam Newton had a good career. It didn't last terribly long, and it had ups and downs, but he was a good player for a while. So if you could replicate that, if you have the right kind of offense for it, then sure. Mason Dahl, are there any big name interior O line available in next year in free agency? Not off the top of my head, I don't know, but there usually are. Personally, I feel like we just need a left guard. If we just move Damian Lewis back to right, he's good at right guard, and then we can draft a center. I wouldn't mind spending big on a top left guard because those are the guys that are hard to kind of find sometimes. But I don't know of any off the top of my head. Go Russell. Yeah, Rock out. It was a fun 10 years, wasn't it? Daniel, do you think the Seahawks will sign Sue? No. And I don't want to, and I don't see any need to. Robert, I wonder if the new young guys will be good run blockers. It's probably a little easier to run block as a rookie, so I would expect some positive things there, and I think both those guys have proven they can do it at least some. So I think they'll be okay run blocking. Daniel, do you think the Hawks could have a top 10 defense? In terms of ability, sure. I don't know if that'll be the actual results because they're going to be on the field a lot, but in terms of ability, yes. Zua, yes, in terms of rushing, Marshawn Lynch averaged 1,200 yards for the last 4 or 5 years. Not to mention his ability to break tackles and bully defensive lines when he hit the A, B, or C gaps. Yeah, and we got close to replicating that with Carson, but we never got there. And it always kind of felt like we kept trying to run the team like like we still had those guys, and we didn't. So it always kind of frustrated me. But hopefully we can get back to at least some of it. It's going to be really hard to recreate. Mason, obviously this isn't the way to evaluate QBs, but do you think a guy's name could make you buy into a QB more or less? Not a lot of HOF Van Dykes. I don't know, maybe that's stupid. No, it's all about the name, man. That's how you knew Tony Romo was going to be good. He had a great name. You knew Tony Romo was going to be a good quarterback because he had such a good name. Even though he was undrafted, you just knew. Still kind of surprises me that Pat Mahomes is good. That's not the kind of name I want to put my sanity on, put my franchise on. But he is good. Tommy Eden, can Gilmore play left guard? I think that was his name. The UDFA we got that has decent physical traits. I think so because he's only like 295 or 300 pounds, but I'm not sure. But that would be cool. But I'm not going to look at a UDFA and go, that's my future starter until I see him do it. Like, I didn't think anything of Jake Curhan until Jake Curhan actually started playing effectively. And I was like, maybe there's something here. I think he can. Hawksnest said, yes, Gilmore is an LG. Yeah, yeah. I'm intrigued by it, but I got to see something to believe it. I'll believe it when I see it, like I did with Curhan. I believe that Curhan could be a competent NFL player at this point because I saw him do it in games. Rockout, I really enjoyed your recent DK report video. I would like to guess that you're a guy who has attended the OTA games. I could be wrong, but I love the Seattle fan base. I've attended some training camps. Yes, it's been a while, but I have been to training camps. Pretty fun experience. Been a couple years, but I do like that. Yeah, Gilmore is a left guard. Okay, sign me up for that. DJ, hey Brendan, does it bother you that the success of Penny in the offensive line during the part of last season was mostly against teams with losing records aside from the Cardinals? It doesn't bother me. I'm aware of it, but there were plenty of games, even last year, where the Seahawks didn't run well against teams with bad run defenses. So I'll take the improvement. So there's clearly there's a clear-cut difference between the way the team was playing with their running game early and late. Like, regardless of who they were playing, you can clearly see that difference. So I'm not too worried about it. Week 2K, Norm Van Brocklin. Yeah, that's a pretty good name. I can get behind that. That's a little Van Dyke-ish, though. I don't know. Van Dyke doesn't sound like a quarterback to me. That sounds like a defensive end in a 3-4 to me. But we'll see what he's got on the field this year. Young Chief Capone. Shout out Brendan from Fresno area. Go Hawks. Thank you, Young Chief Capone. I think my brother used to live in that area. Zua, you think Mafe has the ability to produce sacks? I've been hearing from Locked On Seahawks that he's very Cliff Averill-like and can rush the passer. I like that comparison personally. I think Mafe will be very good. I really like Mafe. He was one of my favorite players in this draft. I don't think he's going to be great as a rookie because he's just a little raw, but I'm not worried about that. Like, whatever. This year's kind of a throwaway year for me anyway. So, yes, I think Mafe is going to be a really good player. I like him a lot. He was one of my favorite players in this draft. Daniel, do you think Ben Burke-Irvin will see some action? Not really. I don't believe he's anything other than a special teamer. Like I don't think Cody Barton's good, but I'm at least willing to give him a chance. I don't see any way Ben Burke-Irvin becomes a relevant player in the NFL. Any chance. No way. Grug, who do you think our sack leader will be this year? Probably Taylor. Mason, it kind of felt like Eskridge got put in the doghouse after he came back from injury, even though they were probably just playing it safe. Wish we could have seen more of him. Yeah, everything kind of got derailed by the injury. It sucks. It is what it is. I will see more of him this year, almost certainly, unless he gets hurt again, which I guess is possible. But I'm down with it. I'm down with it. Rock out. Yeah, no more starting undrafted basketball players or defensive linemen, then converting them on our OL. I appreciate you. I guess I wasn't subscribed. No problem, Rock out. I appreciate the sub. I mean, look, the Seahawks made it work once with J.R. Sweezy, and then they kept trying, and they kept trying, and they kept trying, and they kept trying, and it always just sucked. It's like you found you won the lottery one time, and then you just kept buying tickets. Seahawks sack leader will be Adams. It could be. I don't feel like he's going to blitz as much as he did in 2020, though. Tommy Eden, worst QB name in NFL history, Kim McQuilkin. If there was ever a quarterback named something like, there's got to be a quarterback out there named like Interception or something. Like, remember the pitcher who was named Ball 4? Or the punter who was named Shank? Like there's got to be something like that. Mason, I'm pretty worried about our inside linebacker depth if Brooks or Barton go down. Yeah, it's not good. But at the same time, this team, it's not like this team has high expectations anyway. So if it happens, then whatever. We'll worry about it next year. I don't think Barton's going to be a long-term solution anyway. He'll probably not even be here next year, so we can address it then. If it happens this year, then it's unfortunate, but maybe somebody like John Radigan surprises you, I guess. Robert, do you think Walker will be an impact player at all his first year? I was hoping he'd be like Marshawn. Yes. Walker's going to be good as a rookie, almost certainly. I'm sorry, Walker. Yeah, Walker. I think Walker's going to be a good rookie for sure. I would be very surprised if he didn't have a big contribution. He'll probably be our best rookie in terms of his rookie year impact. I don't think he'll be our best rookie overall. That'll be probably Cross, but Zua, I will give George Fant credit for being able to transition well, but I'm glad we aren't using any more converted basketball players. Yeah, George Fant was okay. George Fant was pretty good. All right, so it is 2 minutes short of 8 o'clock. I said I was going to go an hour. We've gone about 58 minutes, so I am going to start wrapping things up. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I am going to jump on Twitch in a few minutes here. I'm going to play some Thief Simulator. So after the stream goes down, give me like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And I'll be live on stream playing Thief Simulator over on Twitch. If you're not already subbed to me on Twitch, you can just head on over there. Doesn't cost you anything. And you can watch me play some Thief Simulator. E-Week 2K, Barton is a standout special teamer tops. Probably, yeah. I don't hate letting him play this year because whatever, it's a throwaway year anyway. But I'm not expecting it to produce anything significant. Yeah, thank you, Tommy. I am feeling better. I never tested positive, though. Never tested positive. Thank you, Zua. Thank you, DJ. Yeah, I'm a fan of these shorter streams. I like to do a couple streams a week for an hour. I know, Brandon over there in the Hawks Nest, he's doing streams that are like, 5, 6, 7 hours. I do that sometimes, but especially during this part of the off season, I just can't do it. All right. I think the Raiders 2020 draft is officially the worst draft ever. Their first 5 picks aren't on the team anymore. It's hard to compete with that, yeah. It's hard to compete with that. That's got to be the worst, almost. Daniel, who do you think Seahawks would more likely sign at QB, Jimmy G or Baker? It's got to be Baker. Baker has upside. Jimmy G has no upside. It's got to be Baker. All right. We got to 50 likes, by the way, so thank you, everybody, for that. We came close to our Super Chat goal, so that's pretty cool. Picked up a sub, at least one sub. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and call it here, so thank you, everybody, for coming out. Have a good evening. I will be live on Twitch in like 10 minutes. Go Hawks, and hope you guys had a good time. We're going to do this again later this week. Probably just go for another hour. Maybe something will happen between now and then. And